What's going on? Move the Mouse back in City Skylines. Let's play Season 10, Episode number 5. And we just have tons and tons of residential demand. I did a little thing over here. I connected this, a back road here through these streets. These were all kind of isolated dead-end streets. And this just allowed me to extend coverage a little bit better into this neighborhood. This one's still disconnected for now. Maybe we loop that back in over here. But the other thing that I did is I moved this stuff inside the zone. Fire, police, health, and the 2 schools. I made the high school over here. Looks like a lot of people are walking to it. That's good. Because I wanted to support the middle of this area. So this is... whoops. Glad I called that up. That should fix our problem there. Okay. Then we hadn't watered or powered over here yet. Bad mare. Let me just do this real quick. So we come down 440. Kind of stay on our existing grid to cover over here. It's just going to be, I think, a little easier. And then we can come up this way. We'll see what we have to support over there. As long as most of the pipes are parallel, it makes it easy to just kind of snap and bolt stuff on. Do that for a little redundancy. So that's covered there. One of the things that I want to start thinking about, I think I mentioned this in the last episode, is this concept of kind of microgrids. Grids that are self-sufficient on their own. What's the noise pollution like on that? We could make this hill up here kind of a dead zone. Can we get 8? We can get 8 right there. So that powers that. And maybe we could... Is that connect? That's connected across the street right now, huh? So maybe that's just kind of an aesthetic choice then. You know, a little windmill for the section of the town. We'll cut these back, obviously, but maybe we you know, dot some windmills around the town so that it looks like that is part of the power. And really, in the grand scheme of things, it probably won't. We'll probably go nuclear on this map for the low profile and low pollution. Solar updraft tower is kind of nice, but it would be a really tall structure. There's another one that someone mentioned in the comments that we get before that. We can't really do hydro. Solar only works during the day. Geothermal. This is Green Cities. It utilizes warmth in the Earth's core to provide electricity for the city. Best part, it does not pollute. So that might be a perfectly good option for us to kind of bump our way up without really disrupting the skyline a lot. We gotta power this. I was thinking today it's going to be all about the industry, but it really isn't. So I dropped in a couple things over here. I forgot to water them. Apparently. Okay, that covers it. We'll just do that. We'll be safe. Dropped in a couple things up here. I did a really narrow street that is four blocks wide because you can fit barracks back to back. And I dropped in a flour mill up here. We're just going to keep pressing and keep upgrading and make a mess of this zone and eventually replace all this. It's going to be one, kind of giant, massive farm with fruit fields and animal and processing and barracks kind of spread out all over this zone. And we'll mix in, some of these individual buildings here or there just for some touches and some differences of some actual zoned industry kind of tucked in there, almost looking like, different parts of the processing chain. But wow, why does that sign look so clear to me right now? Whereas when you look at the textures for most of the commercial buildings, you can barely read. Okay, I mean, it's loading in a little better. Did they update that depth of field on some of these objects? Because it looks... I'm not wearing my glasses. It just looks sharper. Is it just me? I don't know if it comes through on YouTube as well. I just feel like those signs are loading in better and sharper. Demand-wise. So I moved this stuff in here. I don't think I finished saying why. Truly gated communities, right? Kind of have their own municipal services. They have their own government in some cases, which is one of the cons of of living in a gated community, because you're sometimes paying, fees to live in the community, of course, but you're still paying taxes, and your taxes go to things like municipal services that don't come from the outside world. They might come from, school systems, government, and security forces that are inside the gated community. So I figured we could really go with that gated community approach. At some point, I'll freeform some sort of wall. What do we have for walls? We have like the oil industry fence. No. What do we got? Is there like a wall? I feel like the zoo fence is kind of a wall. It is. So we could do something like that, kind of curving around the outside part of the zone. We'll still blend it in with trees, but make it look like it's really cut off from the outside world. And, that I haven't ever built a gated community before, so I thought maybe that would be something we could do a little different with the Greenwood area here. It might be, a massive green gated community where all of our, where the real green focus of the build happens, at least in terms of how the buildings are zoned. One interesting thing you'll see in some gated communities is, where I need to be a resident or a guest coming through the security gate. We might have this kind of middle area that you see on the screen here between the 4-lane road and the gravel road going left to right. We might do kind of like a big commercial pocket there and kind of allow people into that part of Greenwood, if they don't live there, to do shopping and stuff like that. But then kind of put these security checkpoints to kind of give that illusion. But also, people won't be coming in here. I should be building roads while I'm talking here. I'm wasting a lot of time on our build. But that could be a really interesting way to kind of do things. Because that kind of is what happens in some gated communities. It's a really weird thing. Check out, if you're interested in the topic, check out a channel called City Beautiful. And I want to say he's a town planner. But he does really great videos on just different kind of city planning, city infrastructure topics, and one of those ones that I stumbled on was regarding gated communities. So I'll stop regurgitating what I learned there. Go check it out. It's a pretty cool channel for especially those of you that are interested in city planning, city building, and the like. So I built this kind of little private drive. I thought the high school could kind of be off on its own, but maybe this also becomes our kind of city service area. Maybe I move it up there. I've moved these buildings so many times. I'm going to put the school on the other side of the street here. I think that's a good spot for it because we're generally looking at things from this direction anyways, and I like the look of the front of the school better than the back. We could... Let's mess around here a little bit. Let's delete this road for now. We're gonna do a little stylizing over here because we've got all that residential demand, and I'm gonna move a lot of people in over here. We'll see what that does to the traffic. At some point, we're gonna have to get this tile and bring, highway onto the other side, maybe, just to give people another option for coming in and out. Though, if where they're traveling to is work, industry, or commercial, entertainment, they might be coming that way anyways. So we'll have to revamp our trolley line to continue on down this way also. But now that we've broken that road over here, let's go in and try and flatten a little area. We'll get a smaller piece here. But I thought we could kind of bring it down. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second here. Someplace like here. So we'll flatten that just a little bit right there. And then I'm going to get the slope tool and come up to just before that road from there. Let's do that. We will go back to our roads, connect our gravel road back up. That could work. So let me show you what I'm thinking here. We're going to move these down a little bit. They're going to... see, what order do we want these in? Put the fire station right there, and now we kind of get that carved depression of the building. I'm actually going for that approach here. We can try and smooth that out a little bit after, but I actually wanted kind of that height difference so that the, you know, the profile of these buildings isn't cutting off our high school. But, you know, this becomes more of a central city service area to support Greenwood, and that is pretty central. So we're going to use, you know, this road, Young Road, that carries a lot of the traffic up and down that part of the zone. And then you have these various roads that kind of cut into it. And this is going to be a main road that supports a lot of split offs into different neighborhoods. And at some point, maybe meets up over here, and we'll connect it through and then change this up a little bit. But this might be another highway entrance coming in from the other side. So in the meantime, back to our roads. We've got a couple here. Let's make it not too inconvenient if they want to cut through, and then we can break up our zoning a little bit. And we'll think about, for the time being, that maybe this is kind of where the last road kind of cuts through. If we did something like that, and that becomes a main road into this area. And again, we'll kind of use the oil patch, the discolored grass there, as the boundaries for our community, and kind of build it up around that. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I didn't want to go green everywhere. I like the look of the different mixed buildings, and it kind of makes sense when you look at how cities expand. A newer, greener development would be exactly that. You know, it would be something that was built up outside of the older structure of the town, kind of piggybacking off of an area that otherwise wasn't built on. In our case, we're not going to use this for oil because that's just going to pollute the heck out of everything. So I want to change this up. I'm not crazy about this. I got to get rid of that traffic light. I think we can start kind of moving in people right away over here. I swear I'm going to hook up a mouse this season just to try this out. I did a little bit, like the first day it came out, and the keyboard is so different from PC and unmappable. It just is what it is, that it was so frustrating, and I couldn't do it. But I wonder if having a mouse also hooked up would be useful for times like that. Let's leave it on play while we double check our water. Oh, okay, that was 420, not 440, but too much overlap is better than not enough. And if we end up building over here, which I think we'll probably do another pocket somewhere over here, then we will definitely just extend this grid. But that's good for now. We're not getting power over there just yet. That is okay. I think what we might want to do... temporarily, let's see what we can piggyback off of. Because ultimately, I think this is all going to spread into the same grid anyways, and the things like this, the microgrids with the individual power in the zones, is just going to be an aesthetic choice more than anything. So we've got room here for, I think, one more street. And we want to think about, I don't get into the details of it too much, but you want to think about this concept of arterial, collector and local roads. And I'll explain what I mean in just 1 second. I would like to zone. That's just a little too tight. Just a little too tight to zone there. Maybe we don't zone on this piece. That could work. Okay, sorry. Let's move a couple houses in, because then we can break these power lines almost immediately. Do we still have... We have a tiny little bit of demand that might fill in. It was on 3 times speed. Maybe we have a little bit of a dead zone just here. Industry area level up. I'll have to go check that out before I forget. But let's use a temporary tree brush here. And just fill that in just a little bit. So we're not going to zone right there, right? Maybe we don't zone immediately right there, but that can become part of our commercial pocket. This can be our commercial pocket right here, sort of in between the two toll booths. And it becomes one way to get into this zone and do some shopping, but not if you don't live there. I'm probably repeating myself. Now that we've got a couple houses here, can we delete? Can we delete that? Does it spread now? 5,000. I'm really excited we hit this one too. So let's just get a little bit of this demand met. Power spreading, perfect. Let's work on a tiny little commercial pocket. We'll go check out industry, and then we have to talk about some of the things that we just unlocked, because there's actually a lot of really cool stuff at 5,000 in the context of the build that we're doing here. I'm going to come in straight. This is going to be all framed off of this original road right here. And we're not going to zone on the main strip, so let's see what we do. Let me get my marker here. Do we come in 10? Is that too much? So like it could come in like that. And for now, we'll just move in. I take it back. Let me double check my zone. We'll remove the other half of the street from this requirement. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into commercial now. And we're going to say local, organic and local produce. And that is the Green Cities zoning that you get. Basically what this does, you're growing stuff, right? You're producing stuff, organic and local produce. So since more of that's coming from in the zone, there's less truck traffic. So you're producing half the goods locally, reduces truck traffic by half, increases electricity consumption, but reduces garbage production. So there's always pros and cons. But the other thing it does is it kind of gives us a cool look for some of these businesses that will be in here. And the ones that we're moving in, you know, to this little shopping area here, which when I think about it, it almost should be connected. It should be connected to the inside. It absolutely should be, because the people here need a way to get into it. Technically, our security gates are in the wrong spot, but I don't think anybody's going to blow any funny business in this town. Plus, there's a police station right there, if they do. So, demand-wise, we've got lots of it. Let's go look real quick. While nobody is complaining, right? Right? Are we close on the power grid? I feel like we are. I thought I saw some complaints over there towards the edge of the grid. So, while I was recording today's episode, I ended up going a really long time, and when I sat down to edit it, it was going to be close to an hour, and that's too much. I know some people like the longer content, but I just didn't want to do it. So today's episode is going to be a little bit shorter, and Friday's is going to be a little bit on the longer side, and we'll pick up kind of right where we left off. But just want to let you know why we're kind of ending abruptly today. So sorry about that. There was way too much content, so decided to split it up. Check back for the rest of this episode, basically in a part 2, and that's going to be close to 40 minutes, I think. It was just really tough to edit it down, so make it a little bit more bite-sized. Hope you don't mind. If you did enjoy today's video, likes, comments, and shares all help the channel a lot and are all so greatly appreciated. If you're new here, subscribe for more and consider hitting the bell to get notifications for updates in this and other series. Join the Discord if you want to get involved in the discussion. There's a fantastic group of people over there, play on all different platforms, play other games too, so come on by, join the discussion. And if you'd like to support the channel, links to that and all those other things in the description down below. Check back on Friday as we continue the build, part 2 of this really long recording, but until then, this is Move the Mouse, signing off.